The deepest hole ever dug by humans is hidden away in a remote part of Russia. It's called the Kola Superdeep Borehole, and it's not just some random hole in the ground. It's a scientific project that took years of hard work and revealed some shocking secrets about what lies beneath our feet. The race to dig deep. The story begins back in 1970. At that time, the world's two biggest superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, were not only racing to explore space, but also to explore deep inside the Earth. The Americans tried first with a project called Project Mohole, but they couldn't go very far. The Soviets, determined to go even deeper, started drilling their own hole on the Kola Peninsula near the Arctic Circle. Why dig so deep? Their goal was simple but ambitious: to learn more about the Earth's crust, the thick outer layer of our planet. Scientists wanted to understand how the Earth was formed, what lies beneath the surface, and whether life could ever exist deep underground. Nobody had ever drilled that far before, and the Kola project was their chance to find out. How deep did they go? The Kola borehole wasn't a huge wide hole like a mine. It was actually quite small, only about 9 inches wide, but it went unbelievably deep. For nearly 20 years, the Soviet scientists kept drilling. By 1989, they had reached a depth of 7.5 miles, or nearly 12 kilometers. That made it the deepest artificial hole on Earth, a record that still stands today. When the Earth fights back, but drilling that deep wasn't easy. As they went further down, the temperatures got hotter, and the rock became harder. In fact, the heat at the bottom of the hole reached over 180 degrees Celsius, so hot that the drilling equipment started failing. Eventually, the team had to stop because it was simply impossible to go any deeper with the technology they had. The amazing discoveries. Even though they couldn't drill further, the scientists discovered some amazing things. One of the biggest surprises was finding water trapped deep within the rocks. No one thought water could exist that far underground, but it did. This changed what scientists believed about the movement of water beneath the Earth's surface. They also found large amounts of hydrogen gas, which was unexpected. When they opened the borehole, the gas came rushing out, almost like the Earth itself was breathing. Perhaps the most fascinating discovery was the tiny fossils found in the rocks miles below the surface. These weren't dinosaur bones or anything big like that. They were microscopic fossils, ancient remains of tiny single-celled organisms that had lived billions of years ago. It was proof that life existed on Earth much earlier than people imagined, and that life left its marks even deep underground. The well-to-hell legend. But as news of these discoveries spread, so did a much scarier story, one that captured people's imaginations and fears. In the 1990s, a wild rumor began. People claimed that scientists had lowered microphones down the Kola borehole and heard terrifying screams coming from deep inside the Earth. The story said these were the cries of tortured souls trapped in hell itself. The truth behind the scary story. This tale became famous as the well-to-hell legend. It spread like wildfire through newspapers, radio shows, and eventually the internet. Many people believed it was real, but the truth is very different. The sounds were completely fake. They came from an old horror movie, not from the borehole. Scientists working on the project confirmed they never recorded any screams or voices underground. It was just a hoax, a made-up story that got out of control. The real purpose of the Kola borehole. The truth is, the Kola Superdeep Borehole wasn't about finding hell or anything supernatural. It was a serious science project. The main goal was to study the Earth's crust and learn more about how our planet works. Before this project, scientists only had guesses about what lies deep underground. They used earthquake waves and other tools to make predictions, but no one had ever physically gone that deep into the Earth. The Kola borehole gave them a real chance to touch and study rocks that had been hidden for billions of years. The surprises hidden underground. What they found changed what scientists believed about our planet. For example, before drilling, many believed that the Earth's crust would follow a simple pattern, layers of rock stacked neatly, one on top of the other. But the deeper they drilled, the more complicated it got. The rocks weren't always in neat layers. Some areas were broken, mixed, and strange. It showed that Earth's crust has a far more complicated history than people thought. They also found rocks that were more than 2 billion years old, buried deep underground. These ancient rocks are some of the oldest ever discovered. They hold clues to how Earth was formed and what it looked like long before humans, animals, or even plants existed. Water deep below. One of the biggest surprises was the discovery of water trapped deep inside the rocks. This wasn't water from rain or lakes above. It had been there for millions, maybe even billions of years. Scientists believe this water got trapped during the formation of the Earth's crust. Finding it at such extreme depths was shocking. It proved that water can travel deep beneath the surface, much deeper than people ever imagined. Tiny signs of life. The fossils found in the borehole were another unexpected discovery. These were not big fossils like dinosaur bones, but tiny, microscopic fossils of ancient single-celled life form. These tiny creatures lived billions of years ago, long before complex animals or humans appeared. Finding these fossils deep underground proved that life on Earth is extremely old. It also gave scientists hope that life could exist in harsh places, not just deep beneath our own planet, but maybe even on other planets like Mars. Why? The project stopped. Despite all these amazing discoveries, the project eventually came to an end. The deeper the scientists drilled, the hotter it got. By the time they reached 7.5 miles, the temperature was over 180 degrees Celsius. That's hotter than boiling water several times over. The heat made the rock soft and unstable, and the drilling equipment couldn't handle it. The project was officially stopped in 1992. The site, which once buzzed with activity, was abandoned. Today, the Kola Superdeep Borehole is sealed with a rusty metal cap. From the outside, it looks simple and boring. Just a small, forgotten pit in the middle of nowhere. But beneath that spot lies the deepest hole humans have ever dug. A place full of mysteries, history, and science. The power of legend. Even though the project is over, the legend of the Kola borehole lives on. The Sounds from Hell story, even though proven fake, still circulates on the internet. Some people refuse to believe the truth and are convinced that the screams were real. It shows how easily stories can grow, change, and spread, especially when they mix fear with mystery. But in reality, the Kola borehole is a story about science, curiosity, and the human desire to explore. Could we dig even deeper? The Kola Superdeep Borehole still holds the record for the deepest hole ever dug by humans. But the truth is, we never made it very far when you think about the size of the Earth. Our planet is about 8,000 miles wide, but the Kola borehole only went 7.5 miles deep. That's less than a scratch on the surface, like poking a needle into an apple and barely getting past the skin. So, could we ever dig all the way to the center of the Earth? Right now, the answer is no. The deeper you go, the hotter and harder it gets. The temperatures and pressure would destroy any machine we have. Scientists believe that at the Earth's core, it's as hot as the surface of the sun. But even if we can't reach the center, projects like the Kola borehole help us understand our planet better. Every piece of rock, every gas pocket, every tiny fossil tells us a little more about Earth's history. Other deep drilling projects. Since the Kola borehole, other countries have tried to dig deep too. For example, scientists drilled into the ocean floor with special ships like the JOIDES Resolution. They've collected samples from under the sea, helping us learn more about earthquakes, volcanoes, and how the planet changes over time. But none of these projects have gone as deep as the Kola borehole, the hole that started legend. And of course, the Kola borehole also gave birth to wild stories and scary legends, like the famous Sounds from Hell. Even though the story was proven false, it became a huge part of internet history. It shows how powerful human imagination is and how quickly myths can spread when mixed with real science. So the deepest hole on Earth didn't lead to hell, but it did lead to incredible discoveries. It taught us about ancient rock, hidden water, and life deep underground. And it proved that even in the most forgotten corners of the world, humans will always be curious, always exploring, always searching for answers beneath the surface. Who knows? Maybe one day with better technology, we'll dig even deeper and discover secrets that today we can only imagine. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more amazing science stories. See you next time.